Peace, everybody. This is Mikey-Ice. I'm about to go live with DJ Love coming out of Los Angeles. She was a B-girl. Well, actually, still is a B-girl and is a DJ. So, we're going to be talking about B-girlism, Filipino culture, and DJing. So, I hope that you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching. Dust of OG. I appreciate you, though, bro. Thank you for checking this out. And I'm going to wait for Win to get back on so we can do this interview. So, Win Love, I apologize. DJ Win Love. Okay, let's try it again. Mm, I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go.
Hi.
I was like, what's going
I
on?
put a filter because I look crazy right now.
Okay.
What's up? How are you?
Thank you, Win. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Finally, we made it happen. Oh my
I
gosh.
know.
We've been trying to do this forever. What up, Levi? What up, Mono? What up, Eileen?
Yeah,
All of the
give all your
fam is
peoples
up
a
in
shout out.
here. Fix my earring real
I like that
quick.
shirt. What does it say?
It says Buhay Cali. Shout out to my fam.
Okay.
It means Cali life. It's one of my friends' lines. So,
Okay,
yeah.
let me just type in the comments who you are so everybody can know.
Yay. What up, Mano? What up, Billy? What up, Eileen? Lee Y. Yes, it's one of my good friends from Buhay Cali. It is his birthday today, so I had to rock the
Oh, that's fresh.
party. Yeah, they have fresh gear.
Thank you.
Yes.
So, Wendy, can you introduce yourself before we get started and kind of just give like a
Up,
little
Brooke?
small introduction of yourself for all the people that's watching?
Yeah, so what up, everybody? Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. My name is DJ Wenlove. I am a DJ and a sound healer currently in this season of my life. Also a mother and also a trained archaeologist. So that's kind of my most
Oh, you are
recent
an
endeavors.
archaeologist?
Yeah, I have my master's in archaeology. Um, I
No
specialize,
way.
yeah, what up, few? I specialize in Maya archaeology, so I've done field work in Belize and Mexico, and I've also done archaeological field work in the Philippines. What up, Karen? What up, Blue? Yeah, so
Oh, so you know about the negritos.
yes, yes. I specifically researched the Mayas, so
Oh, the
um,
Mayans, okay.
yeah, the Maya people, I worked in their regions. What up, Larry? What up, Brooke? So, yeah,
Hey, a
I'm
lot of
excited.
people's logging in today.
I know, I blasted it out to my fam. What up, Theory? I know, I told all my friends, I was like, come through.
Yes, it's okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
can I just call you Wendy, or would you prefer Win Love?
Either one is fine, yeah.
Okay. So, Wendy, my question is to you, like, you're Filipino, first of all, right?
Yep, I am.
Full-blooded Filipino?
Um, Pretty much identify as Filipino. My grandfather was half white. We found out recently that he was actually half Irish, but this whole time my family thought he was like Swedish or something. But I don't know anything about Irish culture. So, I grew up with my Filipinos. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Are you
So,
originally from Southern California too, or where are you from?
I was born in East Hollywood. I was born in LA.
Oh, all right.
And yeah, and then my parents moved us up to Portland in 91, like around the time of the Rodney King riots and things were just getting kind of crazy because I'm from
Oh, yeah.
Koreatown. So what up, Oscar?
That was like
So yeah,
around 92 though, right?
yeah, yeah. It was like kind of around that time. And so we moved to this little city in Oregon called Troutdale.
Okay.
And then we moved to the inner city of Portland, North Portland, a little bit shortly after, and then that's where I pretty much grew up. I went to elementary, middle, and high school in North Portland. And
Oh.
yeah, so then after high school, in high school I started breaking, 97. I was a freshman. And
Oh,
um
okay.
yeah, so I spent like my whole high school just breaking and going up to Seattle to train with like Massive Monkeys and all the crews up there. We started our B-girl crew, Vivid Vixens in
I've heard of you was a
yeah,
part of that?
we started a B-girl crew. I think it was around 99 if I'm not mistaken. But it was
Mm-hmm.
an all B-girl crew from the Northwest. So it was like Anna Banana, Lotus, Cyrus,
Oh.
Casey, Jenna, and myself. And I think that was
What
all
about
of us. And Jess Effects, sorry.
that's what I was gonna
Yes,
say was Jess effects around.
Jess Effects. I was like, I know I'm forgetting someone. It's so hard to remember it on the spot. I'm like, did I miss anyone? Yeah, and Jess Effects. So, yeah, we would battle together, and it was dope. It was dope having a B-girl crew because some of us were just
And how
starting
long did
out.
that crew actually stay alive?
Oh, dang, I don't know how long we were battling together. That's a good question. Because I moved to LA, and then um after that I kind of lost contact. So what up? Shout out to Beast Mode in the house. Let's go. What up,
Yo, Beast
Theory?
Mode, what's good though, brother?
I miss that fool. What's up? That's
Everybody's
the
on
homie.
in
That's
here
the
today.
fam right there. What up,
Yeah.
Will? I got my homegirl Will up in here. So, so yeah, we would battle, and it was just cool getting to represent with a B-girl crew. We did Lords of the Floor, like we were, um,
Oh, you guys are what you guys didn't make the tape, huh, did you?
no, no, no. We were just there to like
Okay.
represent. We didn't battle. Jess Effects did. That
Mm-hmm.
was definitely an iconic battle for Jess Effects for sure. Um, but yeah, it was cool being part of that era. The freestyle session, back in the day, B-Boy Summits back in the day.
Yeah.
You Freestyle session and the Queen Bee in San Diego. Like we all,
Oh, you was there too?
yeah, I battled in Queen Bee as well. Um, and that was pretty amazing. So yeah,
Dang. So when you first seen breaking, like, where did you first see it at? Did you see it like at high school? Did you see it on TV?
I saw it. So I was in eighth grade, and all of my like ninth grade friends had started high school. So it was my first day at eighth grade, and I skipped school because I wanted to go visit my friends that were starting high school. And
Mm-hmm.
so we went to, this is in Portland, so um, we went to Roosevelt High School in North Portland, and that's a predominantly colored area.
Oh,
It's
okay.
mostly blacks and Southeast Asians that live in like North Portland. Um, and so we went over there and we met up with our friends, and they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to these guys' house, and we're gonna go hang out with these guys. And I was like, oh, all right, whatever. So we go
Mm-hmm.
over there, and like they pull out like a linoleum and they start playing like Planet Rock and these songs,
Oh,
and I was just blown away. I was like, oh my God. Like the girls were like swooning, my homegirls were like swooning over there. And they're like, oh my God, that's so hot. And I was just like, that's so dope. Like I was just
oh,
blown
really?
away. I had decided then and there, I was like, you know what? I am going to start breaking. I don't know how, I don't know with who, but this is something that I have to do, you know? Because like I wanted to DJ actually since I was
Mm-hmm.
11, but because all my older cousins were DJs, but I couldn't, like my parents weren't gonna buy me equipment. Like we didn't have the money for that, and like,
Mm-hmm.
they're Filipino parents. They're like, you better just go to school, like worrying about no DJing, this and that, like. And then I started
Yeah.
breaking, and they were just like, "Oh my God!" Like I was doing really well in volleyball at the time, um,
Oh, I see.
and my parents would always be like, "Well, there's no breakdancing scholarships. You need to continue your volleyball." But me being me, I just I dove like full speed. So fast forward to I think yeah, my freshman year of high school, I was just someone gave me a tape like at school, and it was this Vietnamese dude who like knew nothing about breaking or hip hop, but he had a cousin from Cali who had a VHS tape, and he was like, "Hey, like you want to learn how to break?" He's like, "I have this tape." And I was just like, "Hell yeah." So he gave me the tape, and of course, it was like soul control and like later on after like figuring out who everyone was, because it was all like power moves. So it was like Mega
Right.
Man and like all these dudes like in a cipher, and I was just blown away. So then after that, I ended up meeting Joe, who is now Joe from Massive Monkeys, but back then he was
Okay.
not in Massive Monkeys. And I don't know if you guys ever used to call like the party lines. Remember the party lines where you
I
just
used to
go and
call
like be like,
it.
"What's up, what's up?" Like all like just meeting
Yeah,
random
they had
people.
different rooms to get that when that phone bill would come.
So like back in the day, like a lot of Asians used to call like we called it the G line.
Oh,
And,
really?
and yeah, so the G line were like these stolen voicemails. It was like a 800 number that was a voicemail and it got hacked. And then you would pass out the number and the password, and people would change the voicemail intro. So you would just call over and over and over again, and you would hear like a different greeting of like different people around the country. And so I actually met Joe like on the Portland G line. And he was like, "This is B-boy so and so." And I was like, "Oh my God." So I hit him up and we like just started talking, and like, this is when there's like no social media, no one's really connecting on the internet. Like we were just
No.
talking on the phone, and then he lived like in the suburb of Portland, like it was far, and I was just like, "Yeah, I'm like in Portland." And I was like, "Would you be down to like meet up at the mall and like, whatever?" So we met out at the mall, and like he had this homie, David, who like was always had a video camera. Like that guy has so much footage. But
Really? Okay.
yeah, he came through, and like we like went to this corner of the mall, and like he taught me my first six step, and he taught me, my first baby freeze and my first like just how to top rock, basic top rocks and stuff. And from then on, like I met DJ Bless, who was also like really close with Joe, and he was living in Portland at the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And they were I got really lucky to kind of meet them in the beginning of my journey, because they were so like just stewards of hip hop. They weren't they made me pay my dues. I had to like do rounds and rounds and rounds of six step before they would like teach me something else. They were like, "No, I'm not gonna teach
Mm-hmm.
you nothing until your 6 foot or six step is clean both ways." Like it was like
Oh,
some like
both of them.
training. Like it was like you need to, and they were after that I also met another crew called DEFCON 5, which are like kind of known as very early
Mm.
pioneers of hip hop in Portland. And they had a
Oh, in
practice.
Portland. Okay.
This is in Portland. I was living in Portland, and they had a practice spot called the Fellowship every Wednesday. And so they were all like, they were very like tight with like Easy Rock and stuff like that. So they would, they would always be like, your footwork needs to be clean. You need to be on beat. When you're battling, you need to face forward. Like it was a lot of like training and like just having to pay my dues. Like they would always just, they wouldn't ever like give me like a free pass on anything. It was always like, "Nah, do it again, do it again." So it was really cool to have that like foundation of like really understanding, even just how much work it takes to like get your footwork clean, and like really respect the
Mhm.
dance. You know what I mean? And I think it played like a huge part in my approach to the dance and like how I decided to, um, my like theoretical framework or whatever in like what I believed in. So that that was my upbringing. And then I started going up to Seattle and practicing with Massive Monkeys all the time. And they're super, super dope, super dance oriented.
Mhm.
Um, and then in 2022, or sorry, 2002. Oh my God, I'm like in the future. What up, Adequate? 2002, I moved back down to LA because I wanted to just expand my like circle and like just
Yeah.
train. And so I started breaking and like I did the typical like got an agent and tried the audition thing.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was with Clear
Did
Talent
you
Group
did you try
for
for the B-girl movie?
I forgot if I did. I'm not sure if I did or not. I can't remember. But um what do you call it? So I was part of Clear Talent Group and I was doing auditions, but then I just realized that it wasn't really in the world for me. Like it was just a
Um.
whole different vibe, like auditioning and being in that whole scene. It was just very, I don't know, I just wanted a break and like cipher and like battle people, and that wasn't a part of it. So I just kind of
Mhm.
stopped doing the auditioning thing, and then I would just go and break. Like every night there was a night where there was, a DJ and a place to dance. That was my practice. I would just go out every single night. And at that time I was like 19, 20, you know,
Oh, here in
and
Los Angeles?
when I moved back. Um, so I was just working at Nike Town and just breaking.
What, what places would you go break at
So
back in back then?
back then it was
The
so
Element?
yes, Element Sundays was like church.
Mhm.
I was there religiously every single Sunday. Um, it's funny that you mentioned that. There was also Bridges, shout out to DP Sound. Bridges was every second and fourth Saturday, I still remember. And that was like for the dancers. I mean, that was like you had freestyle dancers, B-boys, B-girls, you
Mm.
know, uh, capoeiristas, all kinds of people, and the ciphers were just crazy. Shout out to Blue. Yeah, shout out to DP
What up,
Sound.
Blue?
So that was like definitely I was like a staple at Bridges as well. And then I would go to the practices. So like Juice on Thursday, Homeland on Tuesday, you know,
Dang,
I
girl.
was I was every day I was like out. And then Element Sundays actually is funny because
Mhm.
that is where I met Crazy Legs for the first time. And
Oh,
um,
okay.
he didn't know me or anything because there wasn't really like, yeah, Hope in Hollywood was on Mondays, I believe.
Mhm.
And then I remember being there and everyone's like, oh shit, Crazy Legs is here. And I was like, oh my God, it's Crazy Legs, like, you know, and and I just remember like he came up to me and he was like, oh, who are you? Like, what's your name, And he was just like, oh, okay, all right, and I was like, oh my God, like Crazy Legs, you know. And then soon after that, like we connected on the internet and he, you know,
Was this during MySpace days?
this was through like instant messenger and stuff,
Okay.
and I think, yeah, it was MySpace. I think it might
Yeah,
have been
MySpace
MySpace
was
days
like
already.
2000, 2003, 2004, 2005.
Yeah, so that's around the time. And then so after that time that I met Legs, like shortly after that, he asked me, to get down with Rocksteady Crew. And at first I said no because I was kind of like, I don't really know you guys. Like for me, like a crew is like family, like I don't,
Mhm.
it's not just like, oh, the name Rocksteady. Like I really feel like I have to feel like a connection to the people in the crew. So, um, after that, he started having like Dino and Irvin and like Flea and Legacy, who had just moved to LA, come and pick me up, and Cool Ski and like Easy Rock. They
Oh,
would come and pick me up and like practice with me. Like we would practice together, and we started becoming friends. Like, we became really
mm-hmm.
tight, and after like maybe almost a year, and T-Rock, after about a year, I finally like said yes, and like, they like put me down and like I think they battled me in, and they like got me my t-shirt and stuff like that. And yeah, it was cool. It was a cool experience, feeling like I was a part of that history, and I got to be, one of the B girls. At that time it was Renegade, J Skills, Mega, and me. And then I think
Oh, yeah.
Bonita Bonita got down like a little bit after that. So
Mm-hmm.
um it was cool. Yeah, I got to go to Rocksteady Anniversary and judge in
Oh, you did?
2004.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to judge Rocksteady Anniversary in 2004. I got to judge B-Boy City, I think in 2004 as well, if I'm not mistaken. Um, and then, we got to do shows. Like we we got booked to open for Ellen DeGeneres in Vegas. We performed with Black Eyed Peas, and so that was pretty cool. Like we all got each our own like suite at a hotel, and so it
Mm-hmm.
was a cool experience. It was like my first like big like paid gig as like a B girl and stuff. Hold on. Isis, I'm doing an interview right now. It's okay. Can you please get the
It's
dog?
okay.
I'm like literally live right now. Thank you. It's okay. Thank you.
So I wanted to
So,
ask you, Wendy, like, um, when Crazy Legs dissolved Rocksteady crew, though, like, did you leave before that,
I
or
did.
or
I
you
did.
got kicked out
I
too?
left actually pretty much after like I think 2 years of being in Rocksteady. I've
Mm-hmm.
just I don't know. I just felt like um what up Frankie? What up Ron? What up Chang? Sorry, shouting out the homies.
Okay.
I left on my own. I wrote a letter to the crew, and I kind of resigned because you know, not to go into like a lot of detail, but I just started to feel like the overall like direction and agenda of like the people making decisions in the crew didn't really align with who I was and what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted in my own journey, and like how I wanted to represent myself. And so I just wrote a letter, and I exited the crew. And at that time I was with Teal Steele. He's the father of my kids. So we just kind of started doing our own thing, and I had
Oh,
like
so
a
you
short.
and Till was in Rocksteady at the same time?
No, no, no. Teal left Rocksteady way before I got in. Him and
Oh,
Asia were in Rocksteady at the same time, and then they left, and then I got recruited, way later. What up, Sab?
mm-hmm.
Happy birthday, Sab. So yeah, I basically just resigned, and um and just kind of was been solo since then. Like since I was
Mm-hmm.
with Teal, obviously there was like a point where like he was just like, "Oh, you're Street Masters," but I never really like
Oh, okay.
repped it that much, even though like Street Masters is definitely family. Like I love all of them to death because we moved to Miami like not too long after that. And so I
Oh,
was,
you did? All right.
yeah, we were living in Miami for a little bit, and then we came back to LA in 2008. So I've been in LA since 2008 pretty much.
Did, when you was out in Miami, like, how was the b-boy scene to you?
Um, the B-boy scene, I mean, it's Miami. It's a whole different vibe out there. you gotta stay on your toes, like you gotta be ready to battle at any minute, whether you're like on South Beach on the boardwalk or in freaking the grocery store, like, you know, um,
Right.
there's a lot of energy in Miami, and I respected that because it really forced me to level up. But also, I had just had my son, so I was really focused on, being a mom and working
Mm-hmm.
out there. So, I kind of took a little bit of a hiatus from breaking. I mean, since I became a mom, I did like land a couple teaching jobs in Miami, so I was able to expand Asia One's No Easy Props um, after school program to Miami during that time.
Okay.
I landed an account in Opelika teaching breaking to um, middle school kids, and then
Mm-hmm.
I taught some breaking at a private dance studio while I was living out there. Um, so that was cool. And, I did a couple events, like little things out there. We had a night called Keep It Classic, that was like for B-boys and B-girls to come out and dance. And I was just trying to
Yeah.
bring like the LA like kind of vibe out there and stuff.
Did you meet Beta when you was out there? Of course you did, though, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I you know, I would go to her house sometimes and hang out over there. Her brothers would be over there and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But I met Beta way
All
before that,
right.
like before me and Till even got together and stuff like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because Beta, ever since, the Honey Rockwell video, I've been like a fan of Beta. The Honey Rockwell
I know
video,
she was like 10 in the video.
I know, but she was super just so sick. Like I was just like, damn, just her, like her whole flavor. And I've always like had so much respect for Beta, 'cause she's just real as hell. She tells it how she sees it, and she doesn't,
Mm-hmm.
feel like she has to conform to like any kind of thing. Like she just does her thing, and you know, I really appreciate it. I remember one time we were having Thai food in Hollywood, and she was just like, she's like, you're one of the few B girls that um didn't like absorb your boyfriend styles, like, cause like I know
Oh, okay.
I've had, besides Teal, like I I was with Stilo for a little while, and
Oh,
yeah,
I
and
kind of
then
remember that.
that was a long time ago. And I think yeah, before that I did like, so um, you she was just like, I respect that you didn't like completely like style jack,
Mm-hmm.
or like turn into like a second version of your boyfriends. Like you've always had the same style like all throughout your B-girl career. And like it really meant a lot because I really, even though my progression might have been slower than others, like it was because I really wanted all my moves to be mine.
Mm-hmm.
So like yeah, I'm not acquiring like 1,000 moves, you know, here, but like at the same time, like I know that I worked really hard and I like really took the time to create something that was mine, and do it like my way, you know?
Yeah.
So um I appreciated that from Beta for sure.
Yeah. You know what? When the first time, no, the I was watching the freestyle session on the ship, and I remember you come out, you cut the head off, you shoot it in the air, and I'm looking at the tape. I'm looking at the tape. I'm like, yo, this girl got some. She's kind of brave for doing that though, bro. Like, to shoot somebody because you guys were battling Havoc and Coral, and I was like,
Yeah.
that was pretty brave though. Like, and it looked like you were just like fearless though. Like, where did you get that confidence just to be able to battle such an established group?
I don't know. Like I think for me it's like, yo, we're all like, the dance is subjective, you know,
Hmm.
which means like, we're not I wouldn't say we're all equal, but at the same time, it's an equal playing field, you know? And like,
Yeah.
if, you know, you could be having a bad day and I could be having a really good day. And you know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. You just never know.
Mhm.
And like, you know, that day I was just feeling it because I had just battled another kid who was like talking crap to me on freestyle session. You know, he was like, you know, just for no reason, was trying to like say some stuff to me, and I was just like, okay, like I will see you at freestyle session then. And he didn't think I was gonna come after him, but
Oh, this was on the freestyle session board. He was talking
yes,
crap.
yeah, he was trying to talk like say stuff about me, like, you know, and I was just like, okay, well, I was like, I don't really have anything to say to you, but if you wanna, you know, if you're gonna be at freestyle session, I'll see you there. That's it. Like, I'm not gonna argue with you on a freaking discussion board. So, you know, I forgot where he was or who. I don't know. I don't even remember his name. But I was with Fever One, and I was, you know, we were walking around, and someone told me like, oh yeah, he's, you know, he's at the vending area. He's like working he's like has a table. And I was like, all right, cool. And so me and Fever like, you know, going, and it's like pavement. It's like black pavement, concrete. And, you
Right.
know, we find this guy, and I was just like, are you so and so? And he's like, just quiet. And I was like, what's up? Like, you had a lot to say. Let's do it.
No way. You called him out.
I did, because I was just like, I told you I was going to see you at freestyle session. And then he was like, right here? And I was like, yeah. And so, you know, he was like, okay, hold on. And he starts putting on freaking elbow pads and knee pads and shit. And I'm like, bro, what were you thinking? You know? And so anyway, I battled him for like 3 rounds, and I just looked at him. I was like, yo, this is honestly like this is done. It was done the first round,
Wow.
but you know, and I
Dang.
just walked off like, ah, this is over. And Fever was just laughing, and everyone was like, oh. And so I was all pumped up. And then, you know, the
Mhm.
whole thing with
Also, that's where
Havocore,
that energy. You had that
I
energy
had
inside of you.
like that energy because he already kind of boosted my ego. He already made me feel like, damn, like I just smoked this guy in like 3 rounds,
Mhm.
and I just walked off. Like I didn't even look back to see
Mhm.
the aftermath. And so, you know, then you know, Rocksteady lost in the first round
The
against
battle
the
monkeys.
Battle Monkeys. And so I was like, I had practiced so hard. I had all this energy and all these moves that I didn't even get to do. And so when that battle came up, I was like, oh, it's on. Like it's on.
Yeah.
So I think that was really kind of the context of that with Havocoro. And like yeah, watching the
Mhm.
footage, I was like, dang, I wonder if Lil Jon was like gonna really step to me, like like, you know, I was like, was he gonna actually try to fight me? Because in the moment, I didn't even know that he had
Right.
reacted. Like, I didn't even know he reacted that way. But then, like, watching the footage and his friend, like, trying to pull him back and everything, I was like, I wonder if he was gonna, like, actually try to fight me. Like, you
Oh,
know,
crazy.
but, you know, it's all love. So,
I was I was gonna ask you. Do you remember bboy.com?
yes, that was the B-boy chat rooms. Yes.
That was it, Wendy. On Friday nights, I would go to bboy.com, and everybody was in there, like
Yes.
Fujo, Ramine, um,
Yep.
just maybe
I was
you.
there, so I
Everybody
didn't
was
have a
in
B-girl
there.
name. I didn't have a B-girl name yet, so I was just I was B-girl 5254, which was like my pager code. If you're Filipino, 5254 means mahal na mahal kita, which means I love you
No,
very
really?
much. Yeah. So that was like my AOL screen name. It was B-girl 5254. So I was either on there as B-girl 5254 or B-girl Wendy. I can't remember. But I remember being on there all the time because that was like the only B-boy website. So
Yeah.
I
Where you
remember
can actually
sometimes,
be like in live real time.
yes, in live real time. So like I remember Fresh from LA Breakers was like on there.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
created the
Cujo,
site.
he created the site, right? So he was always on there. And I remember that's how I met my friend Tammy um, from Rhode Island. She went by B-girl Tammy on bboy.com.
Hmm.
So I met her on there and, we became really close friends. So I think I remember seeing like Honey Rockwell in there, you know,
Everybody was there.
everybody was in there. So yeah,
And a
that
lot
was,
of times people will go in there and talk shit so they can get you started. So like basically what they did to you at
yep,
freestyle, people be like, okay, meet me at Hope or meet me at Juice, but it started from the B-boy room, you
yep,
know, and
yep,
like those battles would escalate to like actually, sometimes a lot of people from what I would hear that they would just freeze up because they didn't think that it was actually going to be real. They thought it was just going to be just
uh-huh,
keyboard, keyboard warfare.
yep.
I heard a lot of people got stepped to, but I used it as a positive thing, because I was able to meet people from Canada. I met Motion from Skill Methods on bboy.com.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Hmm. And then also, I just wanted to share with you. I've always felt like Filipinos played like a huge intricate part of bringing breaking and hip hop culture back to the West Coast.
Mm.
Because when I first started getting back into breaking, I noticed all the Filipinos were doing it. To me, it was like Jughead Tribe, Knuckleneck Tribe, Lunacy Tribe, Jedi Clan, Dangerous Image, Boys and Styles, and the Delivery Boys, which was down in San Diego.
Oh yeah, that was
Kid Rainey was a,
Cross's crew, right?
yeah,
Cross and Rainan's crew.
right,
That's right. I remember him
exactly.
talking about that on a panel.
And I just remember my crew was all Filipino, and he said, "Let's go to San Diego, and we're gonna battle the Delivery Boys." And I think the name of the jam was called Winter Wars,
Oh,
and it was all Filipinos though. And I think I was the only black person there, but I, I felt cool. I felt cool because I just noticed like all the Filipinos like they accepted me, and
yeah.
for me that made me feel good,
Oh,
because because back in the days like when breaking was just starting to make a comeback, especially from the Bay, like it was just straight up Filipinos.
yeah, yeah.
And then you had the FM20s, and then you had the Scratch Pickles, and then they were the Rock City crew, and then they became the Scratch Pickles, and Cuba Mixmaster Mike and DJ Apollo, and then you had Knuckle Neck Tribe, and then breaking started picking up, and then Rock Force came into the picture,
Yep.
and I just remember like going to there was a jam up north. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It was called World Wars.
No. Uh-uh.
Yes, Wendy. That's where all the Filipinos would be at, and I was just amazed. But the thing that kind of blew my mind about it, I noticed like all the Filipinos, they always took off their shoes.
Yeah, the first time I saw breaking, they took off their shoes, but then, I was taught that, not to. I was taught
Yeah,
that that's a no-no. So I didn't realize that.
yeah.
But yeah, the first time I saw it, they had taken off their shoes and it was a whole
Everybody was
thing.
breaking with their shoes off, but I noticed it was like all the Filipinos were doing it, like the brothers and the Mexicans. We was breaking with our shoes on because we knew like having fresh Pumas on when you did footwork looked fresh, you
Yes,
know.
yep, yep. What up, Kuya B? Yes, and of course, it wasn't all Filipino, and I do
Right.
have to like take a moment to honor the fact that like Filipinos, like we are guests in the hip hop culture,
Hmm.
obviously like hip hop was started by black and brown folks, and we came later on, and even though we do take up a large space in like the hip hop community, like I do have to honor that we still are guests in this culture, and I respect that 100%,
Yeah. I wasn't
So
actually too, Wendy. Did you know who I was back in the day?
I remember I knew you like I guess like I thought you were mostly like a rocker because I would always see
Oh,
you
okay.
pop rocking. and stuff. And
Okay.
yeah, tip number one. That's right. Um, Shout out Pivotic, Kuya B. Yeah, so I always knew you, like I would see you around. But we are all a big S family, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Um, but when did we meet, like actually meet, like like actually connect? I was trying to
You
think about
know what?
that.
I seen you at the B-Boy Summit 2001.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that was my
Yeah.
first B-Boy Summit, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, that was my first B-Boy Summit. I was so nervous. I like wanted to throw up while I was driving there because it was just like, like B-Boy Summit.
Yeah. So you were saying back then when you first heard of me and you saw me, you thought I was just like a rocker, like an up rocker or something?
I feel like, yeah, because like I just feel like also because, during the like the 90s, people weren't
Mm-hmm.
really doing like a lot, like a whole lot of like intricate top rocking steps. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say nobody was. I'm just saying like,
Mm-hmm.
um, like how they always say like the Cali style, like it's more focused on power, and there's like a little bit
Right.
of top rock. That was like, that was kind of like the stereotype. Like again, I'm not gonna say all were like that, but that was kind of like what the stereotype was, right? Like there was more focused on power moves, and so when I would see people doing more like intricate top rock steps, like sometimes I'd be like, "Oh, are they from New York?" Or um,
People
stuff
would
like
ask me
that.
that.
Yeah,
Some people used to ask me if I was from Miami. I was like, no, I'm from out here. But it was like, that's what Abstract and all the guys were doing. So like, I would get that a lot. People would either think I was from New York or Miami.
yeah, yeah. Like I would have, I thought you were a rocker like when I first saw you because like I saw you had a lot of different like intricate top rock steps, so I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. But wait, so where are you originally from?
Okay. Originally, Wendy, I'm from Long Beach,
Oh my
but during the time that
God.
you see me and met me, like I was living in Fresno, but I was raised
Okay.
in Long Beach. I'm in Long Beach right now.
Oh, you're in Long Beach now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm
I
originally
always
from
thought
Long
you were
Beach.
from up north.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually. Let me see. Was at the
Was
World Wars and
and
shit was bananas. Yeah, World
LBC.
Wars was yeah, honestly, let's just talk about the World Wars real quick. The World Wars to me was awesome though because that was before the summit. That was before freestyle session. That was before best of the best. That was the premier event for like the West Coast was the World Wars, and mostly all the people that competed or showcased it was like pretty much like Filipino, and you would get a few brothers, that was in there, like Blue in there from the Renegades. But for me, it was pretty much like James Simmons, Jedi Clan, Jughead Tribe. It was a lot of Filipinos that was there, so. Um, yeah, but I appreciate you saying that though, Wendy, because during that time, I felt like how you felt though. I felt like Top Rocket needed to be, I felt like it needed its place in breaking because that's your first presentation.
Hmm.
If you're dope on top, you get people's attention
Yep.
instantly, and that's how you keep somebody's attention. If I see you kind of like just doing your arms, not walking around the event, I'm gonna look and I'm gonna turn my head. But if I see you
Hmm.
rocking, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, that's where it's
Yeah.
at, and that's the energy I've always wanted to give off.
Yep. Same. Same. I remember, um, when I would go up to Seattle and practice, and like Massive Monkeys,
Hmm.
they're all like they have all the top rocks, like they have, and so I really
Especially
got,
Juice.
yeah, like so top rock was like a very big part of, my beginning of my B-girl journey. It was a very, it was a very significant part, being able to dance on beat and like, how to
Hmm.
transition from top rock to footwork, all the different transitions, and all of those things. And I'm really grateful because like the people that I was first influenced by definitely looked at breaking from like a holistic view. So it wasn't
Hmm.
just focused more on like power, or it wasn't only focused on footwork or whatever. It was like it was very holistic. It was like, no, you need to pay attention to your top rock, your transitions, your footwork, your levels,
Yeah.
your freezes, your, how are you going to conclude your set? Like, how are you going to finish it? You need to finish it strong. Like, so I think,
Hmm.
I just got really lucky. I lucked out that I was able to have a really dope, dope community around me, during my upbringing in
I
breaking
see
that really
that
set.
in your style. I see that in your style, Wendy. Sorry to cut you off, but
No,
I
it's
noticed when you were top rock, I noticed like you took your time and you kind of you didn't just attack the floor right away. I noticed like you had that flow, and like I would see that from a distance, and I was just like, okay, like somebody in my mind, I'm thinking somebody's just teaching her right,
oh,
because
thank
I was
you.
seeing, yeah, that's what I was seeing though, and
Yeah.
and
And that whole like, top rock sequence with Habikoro, like I would say that a large part of that was you know, freestyle or not freestyle session, but Rocksteady anniversary the summer before. I'm really good friends with Breaks Crew, and they get
okay,
down. And at that time, like Breaks Crew and Rocksteady were like complete enemies.
mhm,
But I ended up like
mhm.
staying with Breaks Crew the whole weekend because like I knew them before I got into Rocksteady, you know.
Oh, really?
And so like there was like the first night that I met up with them, Pax, Eddie, like battled me in front of the freaking chimichurri truck in Brooklyn. And then like it was like 3 o'clock in the morning on the sidewalk. He was like, nah, I'm not letting you get away. Like so I had to like battle Eddie. And then like we went to another one's house. I think it was he went by AE 730 and he was like Breaks Crew adjacent, or like I think he was in Breaks Crew. Um, and
Mm.
we literally like we're rocking like the whole night. It was just like till the sun came up. You were
Wow.
there? Yeah, so you know, it was like I definitely like, just was like immersed into that whole like just raw New York, like rocking, like just
Mhm.
hard style. And
That was the best,
yeah,
Wendy, though. That's what drove
yeah,
me to like
yeah.
I took that energy that they was giving out from the East Coast
Mhm.
and I manifested it out here, and that you're right, we should do that, like break in
Mhm.
front of the taco trucks like on cement,
Yep,
break at the raves to like 4 o'clock in the
yep.
morning. And it was just, yeah, it was just, I mean, like you had to be there to
Yeah.
truly understand it, and you lived it, so you know how I felt.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
um, somebody had threw this question out. I was gonna ask you later, but I asked you now. He said, "How do you guys feel about breaking basically being incorporated into the Olympics?" And I just want to ask you, like from my point of view too, because I know it's been asked many times. So, but do you feel like when the breaking expose, when the Olympics expose breaking, that it's going to open up a lot of business opportunities and to be able to put b-boys and b-girls in financial positions where they can actually just have a lifestyle off of breaking?
I think that if the B-boys and the B-girls do it right, then
Hmm.
they won't be exploited, you know. And I think it's interesting to see. I think there is an opportunity for B-boys and B-girls to, um, yeah, be compensated properly, for their talent and everything. Um, and I'm just gonna be frank, like
Yeah.
I don't feel like okay, I'll put it like this. When I heard that breaking was going into the Olympics, I was very disappointed. I was like, this is messed up, like everything's gonna get even worse, like and because and I had like these heated conversations with like different people, and I was just kind of like
Hmm.
um because I realized in those conversations that some people look at breaking as a sport and some people look at it as an art. And if you look at breaking as an art, which is how I look at it, is like it's subjective. it's like it really is on an individual basis, and it's, you know, um, who is like one person to judge, the quality of your art against the quality of another person's art? You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, um, I feel like I felt like if breaking was to go to the Olympics, then everybody would be striving to look a certain way or like dance a certain
Mm.
way in order just to win. And the focus would be more on winning than like becoming like like staying as an expression of art. You know what I mean? So I think there's just this like evolution that where it's just kind of branching off. And
Mm.
I'm not saying that it's bad and it's going to be the death of breaking, because even when breaking was like really dead in the mid 90s, like it was still there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I do feel like those who are like, really, really like for it and like really want to keep it as an art form and keep it as like a cultural expression are going to like stay in that path. And then those who choose to go into that other path are going to go into the other path. And hopefully, again, like, yeah, like you're going to have corporations that are going to want to sponsor you or pay you and things like that. And I think that's great. I think that is, just part of the evolution of the culture and evolution of the dance. We can't always control evolution because it's just
Hmm.
a natural progression based on, where it's going. So I wouldn't say like I fully disagree with like breaking being in the Olympics, but I think people just need to know what the implications are on the actual culture, and yeah. So that's kind of my my 2 cents.
Okay. Okay. I got that. So, um, I noticed in 2000, no, like right around 2020, when we was going through the pandemic, I noticed that there was a shift with you. I noticed that you started getting more into like the DJ aspect, and then I noticed like it became it looked like you started getting like gigs and you started DJing. And I want to ask you, did the pandemic inspire you to to start taking DJ serious?
Yeah, it's it's really funny because like I said, before I started breaking, I wanted to DJ because all my older
Hmm.
cousins were DJs and I would watch them spin. I would like mess around with their tables here and there. And but like it was just something that my parents would not buy me equipment, and I could not afford it. So fast forward to the pandemic, and
Hmm.
I finished my master's degree like in the pandemic. And sorry, I don't know why all the dogs in my neighborhood are howling. But fast forward to, the pandemic. I finished my master's degree and I was just kind of like, what should I do? Like I spent so many years like studying so hard and like deeply. I just felt like there was like a stop in my like, being a student. And I love school. I
Hmm.
love being a student. I love learning. And I was gonna go get my PhD actually, but I even got like a full ride offer. Like they were gonna pay for everything, give me like a stipend of like 30,000 a year just to do my PhD. But like it was in Boca Raton, and I was just like, I'm not trying to move to Boca Raton in the middle of a pandemic. So I declined their offer, and I decided to enroll at the Beat Junkies Institute of Sound. And
What?
yeah, so I enrolled in their intro to DJing class, and that was in April of 2021. So I've literally been DJing for 2 years, just a little over 2 years. Um,
What?
but yeah, like from scratch, like I barely knew anything. And thankfully, like my boyfriend Achilles, like he's super supportive. He's been DJing for 20 years, and just being
Okay.
in the B-boy scene, we're constantly surrounded by dope DJs. So I feel like I already had kind of like a blueprint in my mind of like how I wanted to like to be, as a DJ. And it just finally like, is coming into like fruition. So
Hmm.
pun intended. Wait, what was the pun? I totally missed it.
Yeah,
I'm
I missed it too.
sorry. I'm just like blabbering over here. So, yeah, I started 2 years ago, and then I was, really grateful to start gigging like shortly after I kind of just put
Hmm.
myself out there. I started booking myself. Like I threw like an event and I just, oh, from scratch. Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I started from scratch from the wiki. And um just to like push myself to,
Hmm.
to spin in front of people and stuff like that. And and then I slowly just started getting asked to like do different things. And I just did it. I just put myself out there, and like sometimes like I wasn't ready for it and I would like fuck up here and there, but I was just like determined to keep just like putting myself out there. And it's been really amazing. I really love DJing. I also started sound healing over the pandemic. I got certified in sound healing, like with the crystal bowls and stuff. Um,
Oh.
and so I do private and group like sound healing meditations, and um, with my,
And what's that for? If you don't mind me asking, is that for like the calm down anxiety and
yep.
stuff like that?
Yeah, so people use it for different things. Like it's to like kind of realign yourself, balance out your chakras. It's good for anxiety, depression. It's good for just to have a moment of self-care to reflect and like process. And the bowls have frequencies, and each frequency has different healing properties that actually reach you all the way on to a cellular level. So even if you fall asleep during a sound bath, like all the different sounds and frequencies from the bowls are actually still reaching you all the way to your cells.
Hmm.
So it's very healing. I've always felt that music is healing. That's why I was a B-girl, and that's why I became a DJ. So sound healing just kind of goes hand in hand with like music therapy and music as a form of healing and music as a form of collective consciousness, like with others as well,
Hmm.
like ciphers. You're literally sharing and exchanging energy with people, you know? And I feel like
Yeah.
DJing is kind of like that. Like I could read the room, and I know who's feeling it, and I know who's like, has
Hmm.
yet to open up, you know. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
That's amazing though, Wendy. Thank you for sharing that. Yesterday I got a chance to speak to DJ Shortcut,
Yeah,
and
he's sick.
yes, I did Shortcut. It was amazing though. Like our interview was like amazing. He's going to Dubai, and then he said when he comes back, he's gonna do a part two.
Ooh,
We're gonna do a part two,
hell yeah.
and we're gonna touch on like basically like like Knuckleneck Tribe, early DJs, like in the Bay Area, Qbert and everybody like that. But I wanted to ask you, like how I asked him, could you, like if you could you name your top favorite 5 DJs of all time?
Ooh, gosh. Mm,
I can give
mm.
you mine if
Okay,
you want
you
me to
go
go
first.
first.
Go first.
Okay. DJ Cash Money, Jazzy Jeff, Mixmaster Ice, Mixmaster Mike,
Mm.
and DJ Hollywood.
Oh, sorry. DJ
Okay.
Hollywood?
Yeah. He's one of
Dang.
the first DJs back in New York though that would get the party going, and he would rhyme while he was DJing, and he can at least get like 500 people to show up back in the day, back in the early 70s in New York, because he was one of the most famous DJs in New York, DJ Hollywood.
Wow. Um, Okay, so I I wouldn't say like I have a list of like the top five best DJs, but
Mhm.
I would say like um when I think of who I'm inspired by, I think
Mhm.
of definitely Jazzy Jeff for sure. I
Mhm.
think of like D Nice. I think of that video that I posted earlier where it was with Common and Jay Dilla.
Okay.
DJ Dummy was like kind of blew me away. Like he was like, I was always like if I become a DJ, that's who I want to DJ like.
Mhm.
um, who else? I don't
What
know.
about
There's so many
female DJs?
female DJs. That's a good question. As far as
I like
female,
Spinderella,
Cinderella's dope.
Jazzy Joyce.
Jazzy Joyce. I don't think
Yeah,
I'm familiar with Jazzy Joyce.
Jazzy Joyce. She
I
was
mean,
she did the Diggable Planets. She did the Diggable Planets Eighth Wonder, the one that goes dun 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 dun. Dun. She did the scratching on there for Diggable Planets.
oh wow. Okay.
Jazzy Joyce. Yeah, she's a legendary DJ from New York.
Oh, DJ Red Alert.
Oh,
Yeah.
Red Alert.
Yeah. I'm totally drawing a blank right now. I definitely know like
It's okay.
Cotton Candy was one that I definitely looked up to.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm
Um,
gonna reach out to her.
yeah, there was one I got flown to the Bay Area when I was living in Oregon, like in 2001 or something, for it's called Fifth Element. It was like an all-female hip hop event, and I did like a
Mhm.
little B-girl showcase, but there was this Filipina
Oh.
DJ there that was, I'll never forget her. She went by DJ Genocide, and she was super, super sick. So I'm
Mm.
just drawing from like my memories of like people that
Okay.
I've like that have really like, you know,
Mhm.
like hit like in terms of like my experiences and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I feel like I'm forgetting so many people.
No, don't worry
But
about it.
thank you,
I'll
Mano,
ask you
by the
another question.
way.
We'll jump into another question I want to ask you. So you've been in the B-girl scene like what, close to 20 years?
Yeah.
Longer than 20 years, all right?
Yeah. I started in 97, so what is that?
20.
Almost 20, I guess, right? Yeah,
That'd be
almost
longer than
20.
20. Okay, so 20 years.
Almost,
So from back in
yeah.
the yeah, so from the early 90s and where B-girls are at today, like what is the huge difference that you notice between how it was like the B-girls in the 90s and the B-girls that you see in 2023?
I think one of the main thing is like access to social media and access to footage. And it's like
Mm-hmm.
back in the day, like we could only be as good as like the best person in our neighborhood or in our crew or in our you know geographic like capacity. You know what I mean? Because that
Right.
was like that was the limit, or that was like the extent of your influence. But I think now, B girls around the world are progressing so much faster because they have access to so much footage and
All day,
everything all day, every day. Like
all day.
anything they would ever want to watch or check out or see, like, it's at the, you know, at the push of
Mm-hmm.
a button. And like for us, we had to like wait, we had to wait for like
Looking at
tapes.
magazine.
We had to look at magazines. If we wanted to download a video online, like
Go
with
to the
your
library.
56 kilobyte AOL internet, like you had to wait like an hour just to download like a 5-minute video, you know?
Net zero.
Yeah, so, we definitely, I think the fact that, the internet definitely changed the whole, culture of breaking,
Yeah, it did.
for sure. Because back then it was word of mouth, it was oral history. Like people would tell stories about battles, or people would,
Mm-hmm.
their reputation was by mouth. And now it's
Yeah,
like,
it was.
now your reputation is, how many followers do you have on
Exactly
Instagram?
by followers.
How many likes did you get on your YouTube video? Like, it's very it's quantity now over quality, you know? And the
Mm,
quality is still there. It's just that there's so much, you know, like, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the reality of, you know,
yeah,
the reality of the times that we're in and the technological advances and how they've impacted, you know, every single part of our lives. So,
yeah.
but yeah, the
I think,
B-girls, oh my God, like the B-girls nowadays are insane. Like I literally like sometimes I want to cry when I see some of them. Like I'm just like, yo, you guys are so sick. Like,
the girls in Russia can do
whoa,
everything,
yeah. AKA,
and
yes,
Japan.
we are getting old. But, you know, I'm grateful to have grown up in the era and, you know, the decades of hip hop that I was fortunate to see. You know,
Hmm.
you know, some parts of history that, you know, are only going to be shared through storytelling like this, you know?
Right.
And I'm grateful that you're documenting these stories that, you know, there's
Hmm.
not
Thank you.
necessarily footage of, you know, and I love that you have these archives and these stories because they're so important, you know?
I think, yeah, I think I'm main reason why I'm doing it, honestly, Wendy, because I've always was a person that always documented. Like my first tapes I got like was probably like 91, 92. I was getting VHS tapes, you know,
Hmm.
and I always felt like I wanted to play my part in storytelling and showing different eras,
Yeah.
showing the early 90s, the mid 90s, the 2000s, and where we're at today. And people like yourself, I wanted to give you your flowers and your recognition because usually it takes like when Tina Turner passed away yesterday, everybody's all her music on the radio. She's
Hmm.
such an amazing person, but I'm like, what about when she was alive?
Yeah.
Like she should have got the same love. Why do you gotta pass away in order for people to start saying that you're great
Yep.
and how much they admire you?
Aw,
Do it now.
thank you. I appreciate that. You know, I do feel grateful to, you know, be sitting here and having a platform to share about my journey and
Hmm.
my story because I haven't really done that. You know, I haven't really
I noticed that.
documented it. I was always kind of shy from the cameras, you know, like
Me
even
too.
before social media, like I don't know, I was so weird. Like I just I like I remember I would go to jams and like certain people would like only get down once there was a camera at the cipher, you know,
I
or they would
know.
and
I was
so
shy
I was just
away, Wendy. Honestly, I was shy away from that. I didn't like
yeah,
that.
me too, because I'm like, okay, so you're only gonna like represent when there's a
Hmm.
camera, like, you know, just you can just put your best rounds there, you know, like, and so whenever there was a camera, I'd be like, ugh, I would leave
Me
the cipher.
too.
I would go to another cipher, but because of that, like, I didn't have any footage of myself. I like barely have
Me
any
too.
footage of myself. And like I wasn't the type to like record my practices or record a lot. Like
I
I was
like that, Wendy.
yeah, like I wanted to be in the moment.
Me too.
Sorry, my allergies are like
It's
killing me.
okay.
But yeah, like I wanted to, you know, I wanted to be in that moment and like really truly like feel that moment and not worry about did I get the footage or did I get, you know, did someone catch a picture of me or like whatever, you know?
I see a lot of people breaking like that. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I notice like when people like line up their camera
Hmm.
and they're looking straight into the camera
Yeah.
and they're getting their shirt ready and I'm thinking like that's such a distraction because you're not my best moments is always when the camera's on.
Me too.
Even when I practice because I live right down the street from Homeland.
Mm.
I go to Homeland on Tuesdays and I see everybody got all their cameras lined up and I go to like a little corner and I put in some work for Wendy. Like the way that you say that you see me top rock, I do the same today, drenched. And I didn't film it all, but I felt like that's my time. Like I'm in the
Yeah.
moment
Yep.
and I don't have time to get my camera and set it up.
Yeah.
I'm just like waiting for the DJ. I'm waiting for
Yep.
Irwin, this is Juby, 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 Juby,
Yep.
and I'm going in, so a lot of like yourself, I didn't have a lot of footage of myself in the 90s because I strayed away because of that reason though too.
Yeah. Yeah. When I realized that that was actually like a thing, like, certain
Hmm.
B-boys or B-girls would just wait for the camera and then get down
Hmm.
just so they could make it onto the video or whatever. I was just kind of
Hmm.
like, that is so stupid. Like, and so I would literally just leave and be like, that's not what I'm here for.
Right.
But, sometimes I do wish I got a little more or I like was able to document a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to ask you two more quick questions because I know we've been on for almost an hour and a half, and I appreciate your time. And one of my one out of two, my question I want to ask you is that knowing where you're at today, looking at the Wendy back in the day, like if you could give advice to the young Wendy with the knowledge that you know like now, what advice would you give to your younger self, knowing
Um,
what you know
Knowing
right
what I
now?
know now, I would
Mm-hmm.
say that, you know, um, I would say I'm proud of you. Like you worked really hard. I think
Mm-hmm.
as a woman of color, growing up in a
Mm-hmm.
an Asian or like Filipino household, like we have that imposter syndrome of like just not ever feeling good enough or not like
Mm-hmm.
believe it or not, like even when I was in Rocksteady and even when I was like really like at the peak of my B-girl career, in the back of my mind, like I still thought that I was whack. Like I was just like,
Oh,
no.
really?
Like I was like, I could be so much better. Like I'm slacking. Like I was really hard on myself. And if I were to go back and give myself advice, like what I tell like younger B girls that I talk to now is, just
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the journey and, don't worry or compare yourself to anybody. I was just
Yeah.
like, who you are as a person, like that's more than enough. And nobody could do you like you. So you need to tap into what makes you unique and what makes you different. And instead of viewing that as a weakness, like take that and run with it. That is your strength.
Mm-hmm.
No one can do Mikey-Ice like Mikey-Ice.
No,
No one can do One Love
yeah,
like
you're
One Love.
right.
No one in this whole world can ever do it like you because it's you. So
Mm-hmm.
use that as your strength and use that as your power. So that's definitely what I would say.
What about anything like financially though? Like, because I know we never really talk about that. And I remember a lot of times, I mean, I've always had a job when I was younger, but I just kind of noticed a lot of the b-boys that I was hanging out when we were like younger, a lot of them was broke because they wasn't financially, acknowledged, financially, prepared or understanding how to save and how to take care of
Mhm.
their finances. So, like, was that something that too that you kind of like? Did you ever struggle with that when you was like a big
Oh
girl when you were
yeah,
younger?
for sure.
Yeah.
Like FIFO, I'm gonna answer your question after this question for
Okay.
sure. I see you. Um, yeah, I struggled. Like I always worked. I always had a job and stuff like that, but I definitely did not know how to manage my money, and sometimes, like I remember going to New York for Rocksteady anniversary and like I stayed at Nemesis house in the Bronx
Oh,
and
you were
um,
there? Okay.
yeah, 2002 was the first Rocksteady anniversary that I went to, and like that's why I said like Breaks Crew, like they took care of me the first time I went to New
Oh,
York. Like
okay.
I was at Nemesis grandma's house. She was like cooking up food for us, and but I was there for like a minute, and I don't know like how we found food, how I was able to make it for the trip like we're, just doing random things. They're like, when you travel for a battle, like you don't even know if you have enough money to eat the whole time you're there or like where you're gonna stay. Like I was just like, I'd go places and I'd be sleeping on someone's living room floor. Like I didn't care. Like it was just part of,
Break life.
that was the break life. But I remember watching an interview and I forgot it was a I think it was a Japanese b-boy, and he was saying that he, he has he has a career to fund his breaking, you know?
Okay.
Um, and it changed my thinking about of how to approach the dance, because over here we're like we're just gonna be starving broke until we make it, or something
Mm-hmm.
happens. But unfortunately, like, you know, for b-boys and b-girls, it just hasn't reached that point where people,
Yeah.
anybody who breaks, like, yeah, if you're business minded and, like you get sponsored, or you start, you start to teach, or you open a dance studio or whatever, like, but if you're just breaking and battling, like, you're,
Mm-hmm.
it's not set up for you to make a living off of, you know,
It's not Wendy.
it's not. And like, even, you know, who's, I forgot what DJ was. Anyway, someone posted something saying like the average salary for a working DJ is still only like 26,000 a year. And that's not even a living wage, and
Oh,
DJs, they do make a little bit. Oh, thank you so much, Aunt.
thanks,
You know,
Kat.
DJs,
Appreciate you.
they do get like consistent work, but like still the pay is like, it can be really challenging, especially
That's how I
because
kind
like a
of
lot of,
feel
you
like for the
know,
B-boy too, though, Wendy. Like, not to
yeah,
cut you off though, but I
yeah,
remember sometimes when they would ask me to judge an event, though, the guy would say, um, for the whole day, for like 8 or 9 hours, he'll pay me $100.
that's like,
And then on top of that, he said he'll mail me the check.
oh, oh wow.
And this is like at a university like UC Merced, UC Berkeley, Salt Lake City. They said they would mail me the check. And sometimes the check would take about, because they have to clear it through the
Uh-huh.
school, sometimes it would take like 3 weeks to get $100.
Yeah, yeah, especially with schools, you have to, it's like there's like a net 30, so you have to wait for it to go through their accounting system and stuff like that to
Exactly,
get,
Wendy.
to get the check and stuff. So,
a hundred
yeah,
dollars.
for $100, you have to wait 30 days. It's
No, no. So yeah, I lived that break life though too.
yeah.
But it was crazy though. So my last and final question I will ask you, because I'm looking at the time and I know I appreciate you like even taking the time to do this. So
Yeah, no,
is
thank
there
you.
anything that you see in the B-boy and B-girl world that you really don't like?
Um, that's hold on one second. Wait, I'm gonna
Oh, you
answer
want
FIFO really
to
quick
answer that
before
guy's
he
question?
leaves. Yeah, FIFO, he said, did you ever feel like as good as you wanted to go back because you felt like you never hit your prime? I definitely sometimes, think about that because, um, I was kind of like in my prime when
Mm-hmm.
when I got pregnant and I had children and stuff like that. And but I don't regret it at all. Like I do feel like at the time that I kind of stopped breaking, I felt like the
Mm-hmm.
scene was kind of changing, and
What year was that?
like around 2006, 2007, 2008,
Okay.
like I don't know. I was like I was kind of jaded from the breaking scene.
Oh, you
So
was?
I just kind of felt like, I don't know. I just felt some type of way because, of my experience, like, when I was in Rocksteady crew, and then like just, seeing how things were shifting. And I think it really was had to do with just the emergence of social media and the internet,
Oh,
you know,
oh yeah.
and I just felt like, you know, um, I just felt like everybody was just making a scramble to have this like online presence, but they weren't really like for the culture, you know? Um,
Mm.
so I was just like, yeah, let me take a break. But I
Okay.
mean, I'm still a B-girl at heart, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like I'll still get down, I'll still dance, you know. I think that part is definitely very much embedded into me, you know.
But
Um,
you don't really practice like that how you used to,
no, but I did start going to the gym again and just like start moving my body again. And I have a trainer and stuff like that.
huh?
And
Mm-hmm.
so I definitely do. That is my goal, is definitely to get back to the dance for sure. Um,
Oh, okay.
so I'm just like trying to slowly incorporate movement back into my life, like on a consistent basis. And yeah, I definitely do want to want to enter one last battle before I like fully hang up, because now I'm 40, so you know I qualify for the 40 and over battles, and I'm not giving up on that. So you know,
Okay.
I just turned 40 this year, so yeah,
Congratulations. That's
thanks,
amazing.
thank you.
Yeah. So, like I was saying
Oh yes.
before I let you go, like looking at, because you know what's up, Wendy, like without me even throwing people's names under the buses, though, is like there's a lot of, excuse me, but there's a lot of shit that's going on in the B-boy and B-girl world, though, too, that's, that was kind of like of the past, but I noticed that it kind of caused like some disruption, you know what I
Mm,
mean?
mhm.
And like with the scandals that a few people got caught up with,
Mhm.
but
Mhm.
I want to ask you, like, looking at the B-boy game today, and the B-girl game, just how you said back then, you kind of felt jaded, like, today, is there anything that you see that you really don't agree with, that you can see, like, in the breaking world, where you're just like, "Nah, I'm not really cool with that."
I think I think I'm um I consider myself like a little bit of an empath, and like I really do pick up on people's energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I really feel it like when people are not really like authentic, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so um that's the only thing I would say like
Okay.
kind of gets to me sometimes, if it's like when I'm like around certain people, and like I could feel that, you know, their heart's not really in it. They're in it for some other reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I mean, like I used to be like very protective over the culture and stuff, but now I'm just like, you know what? To each his own.
Yeah.
You know, do your thing, whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you know, in every scene there's gonna be weird, shady, sketchy, just people, you know, and I just choose not to associate with those people,
Right.
and I don't have to work with you. I don't have to, you know, do anything with you, you know. So, you know, I'm a lot better at setting my boundaries and protecting my energy,
Yeah.
than I was back then. Back then, I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, you know, um, just younger and more, you know, naive, I guess, to little, you know,
Yeah.
little things, you know, and back then, like, you know, being a B-girl was is different. Like, you know,
It was.
it, it was just different. Like you know, we were constantly being pitted against each other. You know, we were always made to feel like we had to be better than the next B girl in some way, or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we were conditioned to like hate on each other. You know, like there could only be one B girl, you know,
I
in this
know.
circle. You know, and now, you know, I really think it's dope that B girls are coming together, and they're really like, you know, empowering each other and like supporting each other and like really building these genuine, you know, genuine bonds. And I think that's really important, because now B girls are talking to each other, and all these all these, shady things are coming out and they're coming to light
Yo,
because these women are finding out that they're not the only ones that this happened to, and I'm glad because no one deserves to feel unsafe. No one deserves to feel objectified. No one deserves
mhm,
to feel, like they have to do something that's against, you know, their morals,
right.
that's just not cool, so
Hmm.
I'm happy that these things are coming out because I really do believe that everything done in darkness will eventually come to light. And that's why I'm just like, you know what? When I hear about stuff, I'm like, it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out no matter what. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
So
why I truly understand. That's why anybody that I have relationships with, I keep I keep I keep it strictly hip hop. Like I don't cross the line. I'm I just always feel because yeah, I don't want nobody to come out and be like, oh, you know what, look what Mikey did to me. I'm like, no, no.
yeah, because
I've always
nowadays,
supported the B girl, like just on the B
and
girl thing.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that you respect that. We need
Hmm.
more allies in the community you know, that support and that hold space for us because we have to work a lot harder. We have to overcome a lot more as B girls, mentally,
Hmm.
physically, emotionally, to be entering these spaces that are male dominated. So, our starting lines historically are further behind, you know, and so, I really do feel like nowadays it's a lot more even
Yeah,
playing field and that women are actually embracing their own feminine styles and not having to like
hmm,
look like b-boys to feel like they are good, you know.
yeah, yeah.
So, but that's a whole other subject.
Okay.
But yeah,
So
I'm grateful that you're holding space for the history and like just,
yeah.
these archives I think are super important and I appreciate you,
No,
inviting me.
thank you, Wendy. I appreciate it. Like I said, I think me and you've been trying to do this for at least
I
like
know.
maybe like 4 months,
Yeah,
4 months, 3 months.
it's
It's
been
okay. It happened, and I'm glad we finally got a chance to happen. And this is actually the first time that me and you had like if you think about it like a visual conversation because
that's
when I would
true.
see you in public, we never really we just kind of like crossed each other.
That's true. That's true.
You know, after all these
Yeah.
years, like this is the first time since I've known you, like back in 2001. This is the first time we actually had a serious conversation,
That's crazy. Yeah,
right?
that's crazy. That's true
20
though.
years, 20 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But anyways, I thank you for your time.
Yeah,
I've
thank
always
you.
thought you was an excellent person,
Oh, thank you
and
so
I just wanted
much.
to, because I know like um, other people are gonna watch the interview, and people that and I just want what I do right now to be documented, so like in the future when they might want to pull something up on you, and say like, oh, when love, and then like this interview comes up though too, that they can use reference from this interview to know like personal things about you because I never really heard a B-girl interview from you like straight to the core,
Mm, yeah, I
straight to
haven't
the core,
really.
from B-boy to
Yeah,
B-girl. Yeah, I've never
it's
heard it.
true. Thank you. And I've been thinking about that a lot because like,
Hmm.
like I wanna at least document some part of my story so that my kids can look back and be like, oh, this was a big part of my mom's life, you know,
Hmm.
at some point.
Yeah, your
So
kids are getting big, especially your son.
yeah.
He looks just like Till. He looks
Yeah.
just like him.
Yeah,
Are
he
they into
does.
hip hop and breaking at all, or
My
how do
son's
they feel about
my
it?
son's into graffiti.
He's into
So he's
graffiti.
he's into graffiti, and my daughter I mean, they both have like, they grew up in breaking, so it's like in their DNA. Like when they were
Okay.
when they were babies, they were just getting down already. But
Mhm.
my daughter's into volleyball. She likes volleyball a lot, so I support her fully in that.
Okay.
And yeah, my son, he does boxing and graffiti, so
Mhm.
that's his thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Wendy, thank you for your time, and I appreciate you. And
Yeah, thank you
I'm gonna be
so
coming out
much.
with some. I'm gonna be coming out with some new shirts though too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I'm gonna make something for the B-girl watch. When you see it, you're gonna be like, oh damn, like
Oh,
okay. I'm
really?
trying to collaborate with. I'm trying to collaborate with Baby Love.
Oh, man, I haven't seen her since, oh my God, since Miami.
Yeah, I did an interview with Baby Love during COVID.
Wow.
Yeah,
She's so awesome. I love her energy.
yeah.
I don't even know if she
I if I
remembers
can do a
me,
Baby
but
Love shirt with her though.
I,
So I
yeah, I
think I'm gonna be
remember
trying to
meeting.
do a Baby Love shirt with her.
Yeah, that's dope. You should. That would be sick.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you again. And yeah,
Okay.
I hope to catch up with you again soon.
All
Maybe in
right.
person at a jam. So,
Of course. Are you going to the B-Boy Summit this year?
I am. I have a gig on Saturday on July 15th, but I'm gonna try to make it
Okay.
during the day, if not for sure Sunday for sure. So, yeah, I'll definitely be there. I gotta
All
support
right.
Asia.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, shouts out to Ant. That's your friend right there, Ant. 805.
And what up, Aunt FIFO? Who else is in here?
There's a bunch of people in
Brooke,
here.
Playtime, Blue. We got Tommy Guns. Wow. What up, everybody?
Everybody, huh?
Yeah, my
Everybody
fam
on
pulled
here. If
up.
you Yeah, everybody on here, if you want to follow my Instagram, I'm going to be doing more legendary
Yes,
interviews like this too as well.
yes.
So feel free. Um, I have Mikey-Ice TV. I have a YouTube channel too where I put this interview up on there and I'm going to save it. And
Oh, dope.
I think at least maybe about close to 100 Instagram interviews on YouTube.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so all right, Wendy.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, for
Okay.
tuning in. And yeah, have a
Have
great night.
a blessed night.
Thank you.
You too.
You
All
too.
right.
Bye.
Bye.